future and current artists. As you can see, I'm taking over art with Dr. Doodle today. So it's art with Harold in the Doodle Den. We're going to continue working on Harold. What are you doing? I told you to wait for me. I'm sorry, Dr. D. I wasn't trying to do anything. It didn't sound like that, Harold. Well, future and current artists, Harold is signing out. I don't know what Harold was trying to do, future and current artists, but it is still art with Dr. Doodle today. We're going to continue working on our clay sculpture of our 3-piece alligator. If you join me in the Doodle Den, you'll be able to see what our next steps are. And next episode, we will be making an animation using our sculpture. Well, come on in. Well, welcome back, future and current artists. I hope that you are ready to continue sculpting our alligator or crocodile, whichever one that you want to make. If you haven't already gone ahead and continued, then you can follow along with me as we pinch and pull to make the spikes on the back of the body. All over the back. We want the spikes to fill the whole back before we add the lines. We learned a lot when we were practicing making this alligator together. And that's right, because if you do a good job now, you can make another one if you have more clay. So we've got some more spikes to make on the back here. And as you're doing this, I want you to think about how we might animate this. If any of you know what stop motion animation is, next episode we will be using it, the techniques of stop motion animation, to make this clay creature move and animate into a very short animation. But that's getting ahead of ourselves because we still have a lot of spikes to make for the back of this alligator. Now, I've finished making mine, so I'm going to take my clay tool, which is going to be this pencil, and I'm going to make lines in between. We're not going to go really deep. It's not going to cut all the way through our clay sculpture. But in between the spikes, we'll make lines going one way, and we'll make lines going the opposite direction as well. Take your time, and if you make any mistakes, you can always smooth over the clay and go again. So now we're going to make the lines in the opposite direction. So if we were doing left and right, we're doing up and down, north and south. When you're done, you now have the back of our alligator, and we can now see what it's going to look like when the tail is next to it. It's going to look like a giant alligator. The back is above the water, the bottom of the belly is below the water. Same thing with the tail. It's swimming on our placemat, but it doesn't look real yet because it only looks like the backside, like the head is underwater. So we need to change that. And this is why I saved the head for the last part of this episode, because there's a lot of details to make sure our head looks as realistic as we can make it. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the same spikes that we did on the back on only a small part of the back of the head. So what you can do is use your clay tool and make a lowercase letter N, and that will be the only part of the head that will have the spikes. So let's make 4 spikes from left to right, 3 spikes down. So pinch one direction and now the opposite direction. We could go back. It might not be large enough for 3 spikes, so maybe it's just 2 spikes down, and let's just do 3 spikes across. Your alligator or crocodile will have as many spikes as you can fit or want. From there, we'll make lines going in between each spike with our clay tool. And now we're going to be working on making our eyes. Using your clay tool or your smallest finger, your pinky finger, you'll push in and wiggle around to make an eye socket. And you'll do that on the other side as well. As you can see here, there are 2 eye sockets on both sides. You'll try to make them as even as possible. If you have white clay, now's the time to get your white clay. Take a small piece. Make sure you do what we did to activate the clay. Roll it in your hands. Roll it on the placemat. Push it down. And you'll want to roll it into 2 small balls. What indeed? These are going to become our eyeballs. So then once you have your tiny eyeballs for the alligator, you'll push them in. Now, an alligator's eyes aren't white, they are black, but I wanted us to have a little bit more cartoony eyes, so that's why I chose white. I wanted them to stand out. So you can have them still be white, but if you want it to be more realistic, if you have black, and maybe that's why I was using white. No, I've got black, so I thought I was out. So we'll make it look more realistic. We'll take our black, we'll activate it, roll it into tiny balls, make sure that we keep the clay on the placemat, and then we'll shove those balls, those eyeballs, into the eye sockets. But we're not done yet with the eyes. What we're going to do is take a little bit of clay from the top of the mouth, and we're going to roll it into a ball first, and then we're going to roll it into a snake. And this is going to become, we're going to place it on the tippy top of our eyes, and this is going to become the eyelid. And as you can see, it's starting to look a little bit more realistic, kind of looking like they're like a dinosaur a little bit. We're going to have to do that for the other eye as well. And then we could smooth up the front of the head. So let's roll that into our snake. And we're going to roll that over for our eyelid. Push it down, make sure it's secure. And now we have 2 realistic looking eyes. Now we're going to make the snout, or the front part of the head and the mouth, a little bit thinner than the top part. So what we'll do is we'll push down here, we'll pinch it here, and we'll do that for the rest of our head. And there you go. We're starting to have a realistic looking alligator or crocodile head. Next step is pushing down on the top in between the eyes. And now it's starting to look even more realistic, but we're not done yet. I know we've been doing a lot of work on this, but that is the best part of when you're working with clay, is if you take your time like we've been doing, our sculpture is going to look, there's a chance that your sculpture is going to look really nice. Now, here's the thing, future and current artists, I've been working on my art and practicing my artwork since I was 5. I am 35, so it's been 30 years for me. If you are not 35, then do not worry if your work does not look the same as mine. There are people that are my age or younger that their artwork is better than mine in certain areas. And there are people who are older than me, and their work is better because they have had more time and practice. So do not judge your work against mine. Anyway, we still have some more to do, so let's make some lines right in between, not so deep, where the eye lids and brows are. And we can make some lines on the top of the head too. And then at the front, we're going to make 2 tiny holes. Those are going to be our nostrils. And we can make a line in between them as well. And it's starting to look very, very realistic. Let's see what it's starting to look like. And now we've got this creature that is swimming on, or half above and half below, our placemat. But we're not done yet. No, 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 no. We've got 2 optional, well, not 2 optional, 1 optional thing that we can do. First thing that's not optional is taking your clay tool, and it's better if you have a plastic knife or knife-like clay tool. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a line right here, and it's going to go even past the eye, and this is one part of the mouth. And we're going to do that and lead that line, keep on drawing that line on the other side of the head, and we're going to make sure that that line goes underneath the eye as well. And that's the mouth. Now you could end here and you would have a fully functioning clay animal for our next episode, where we will animate this and it'll look like it's swimming along half above, half below our placemat. Or if you have white clay to spare, we can make some teeth for this amazing creature. So to make room for our teeth, let's take our clay tool and enlarge that line. And what we could do is we can make, if you want, either individual teeth or just a white line to show that there's teeth. I'm going to go for individual teeth. To do that, you'll take small pieces of clay, roll them into a ball, and then pinch them at one end to make a sharp point. And then we're going to, if you have a clay tool, that is great, because then you could cut it even smaller into the tiny teeth. They could even be coming out of the mouth. And then you're going to use your finger and or clay tool to connect the teeth to your sculpture. And now we've got a toothy grin, but it's only one tooth, so we need to make sure that we add the others. So let's take our time, and we're going to do the same thing that we did for the other tooth. We're going to pinch it at one end, we're going to put it in the mouth, going to use the clay tool, and we're going to connect it. We can even use our fingers too. And now we're starting to have a toothy grin. Now, if you wanted to, you can also open up the mouth with your clay tool, and you would be able to have the mouth open up. But the only issue with that, future and current artists, is that that would make it so that the alligator head, especially the mouth, would have more of a chance of breaking, because there are no bones in this clay sculpture, unlike a real alligator head. So you can open the mouth up, but know that it would break and you'd have to fix it. So I would suggest keeping the mouth shut and just hinting at all the teeth that are in the mouth by adding these white clay teeth. we're adding each tooth. Maybe we're not going to add all the teeth. Maybe it's just the back teeth that we see. It's up to you. But if you take your time, you're going to have an amazing looking toothy grin. And any mistakes that you make because it's clay, you can always fix it very easily. So we'll do one more tooth on this side of the mouth. And then we'll work on the other side of the head and add teeth there. So look at that toothy grin. And the bottom should be flat, so that way it doesn't wobble, especially when we work on the animation next episode. So we've got to do the other side of the mouth. We'll add some teeth. Now, if you finish this project and you have extra clay, what you can do is you can follow along or recreate what you just made using the steps that we took, and you could transform this alligator or crocodile into a dinosaur or into a dragon. That's right, all you would need to do to make this into a dragon is add horns on the head and wings on the back of the body. You can also add other details to it if you don't want it just to be a separate head, body, and tail. But if it's a dragon, maybe it's not swimming in water. Maybe your dragon is swimming in gold and treasure. So now we have the teeth on this side, teeth on this side, and I think that's it. So future and current artists, please leave your sculptures somewhere safe, somewhere where it won't get damaged, and somewhere you'll remember where it is, because next episode I will be teaching you about stop motion animation, specifically claymation, animation using clay, and we will animate our alligator or crocodile, whatever you want, and I will teach you the steps in how to do that, and we're going to have some fun. So please make sure when you finish up, what you'll want to do is store your clay animal sculpture somewhere safe, like I said, and where you'll remember it. And then you can throw away your placemat, clean up the table, and put away all extra clay. And then you're definitely going to want to wash and dry your hands and the table that you worked on, because if you're using the correct clay, the clay will get all the oils on you. So why don't you clean up and join me in the Doodle Den next episode, and we will create a claymation. Well, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed working on the second part of our sculpture project. I hope that your alligators came out as nice as mine. It's okay if yours doesn't look the same. Not all alligators, or if you made yours a crocodile, they don't all look the same, so that's okay. What will be fun is what we do next in the next episode, where we will be taking our sculptures, or if you don't have clay and didn't have clay to work on today's lesson, you'll take one or more toys and you'll learn how to transform them into an animated cartoon. Can't wait to see you there. Please leave your comments below, subscribe, like, click the bell, and share the video with friends and family. I would love to have more future and current artists join us, so that way we can do more fun and interesting projects together. And if you have another idea, please send all of your suggestions, either post them in the comments below or send me an email at thedoodledoctor@gmail.com.